It's time to roll the credits with Chris and Wayne. Good evening, everyone. I'm Wayne Pyle, and this is Roll the Credits with Chris and Wayne. We're here to bring you another exciting interview with some amazingly talented folks who make films and TV right here in the Hudson Valley.
And I'm Chris Ty, and as you know, we are the official video podcast of the Hunter Mountain Film Festival, which is online this year from October 22nd through the 24th. For more information, please visit huntermountainfilmfestival.com.
So, Chris, before we introduce our very talented special guest tonight, I would like to talk about the Hudson Valley.
Yes. One of my favorite topics.
Yes. We like to talk about it. We do a lot, actually. And from what I've read, I believe the corridor itself goes from Yonkers to just below Albany and encompasses a lot of the communities along the Hudson River. We've got all these great things going on up here. We've got all of these incredible arts institutions, film and TV studios, farms, orchards, vineyards, breweries. We've got amazing views in the great outdoors for hiking, camping, biking, kayaking, cross-country skiing coming up soon. I'm excited about that. We have some major educational institutions like Vassar College and the SUNY system. And my talented and lovely wife, Heidi Eklund, is the casting director and actor who runs Hudson Valley Casting. And where we are in New Paltz, we're only about 70 miles or so from New York City. So I could commute every day if I wanted to. I absolutely love living here in what some people are starting to call Hollywood on the Hudson.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you know, Wayne, one of my favorite things about living here is everything you just said. And there's so much. We're hikers. And when you think of all the different hiking opportunities with the views and the vistas and leaf peeping, and we get a lot of people come in here.
Yes, they're called the leaf peepers. I heard you say,
that's right. I'm not personally a mountain climber, but I like watching them. And you know, the Ridge at the Gunks is one of the mountain climbing capitals of the Northeast. You know,
that's right.
We're also into college football, and we can go to a big time college football game here right at West Point, and we go every year when we can. Shopping at Woodbury Commons, a premier outlets in the country. But one of my favorite things, though, Wayne, are the microbreweries and the wineries.
Oh yeah.
And actually, right out of high school, I had a temporary job before college working at the oldest winery in the country, the Brotherhood Winery, right in Washingtonville.
Yes, I'm familiar with it. Yeah, very
but
nice.
When it comes right down to it, though, nothing beats our film opportunities. As an actor, I really appreciate that, especially with all the times I had to go to New York.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe 2021 has actually been our biggest year yet for film and TV production in the region. And so we have to give a shout out to Laurent Rato, our Hudson Valley Film Commissioner, for all of his work developing the region. I mean, it's really amazing what he's done up here. One statistic I read is that from April through June was the busiest quarter since the commission's founding. $25 million was spent on production, about 15 productions, I believe, right here in the Hudson Valley. So what a great way to bring in our special guests. They love the Hudson Valley so much that they made it a part of their name. So we are very pleased to be talking to two of the founders of the new streaming platform, HUDSY, tonight.
Well, Wayne, I love how they describe HUDSY as kind of like if Netflix and high quality public access television produced a local digital TV baby. It's awesome.
I love that so much.
Jesse Brown has over 20 years of media production and storytelling expertise. He deeply believes in the power of place. In 2005, he helped co-found a snowboarding magazine in Jackson Hole, Wyoming that still exists today and has been a partner in media production, or a media production company, as well as having built his own.
Yes, and Jesse brings a unique blend of skills from content creation to advertising, sales, and event production to the table, and often touts the mantra, our network is our net worth. Awesome.
Love it.
He loves to connect people and organization in ways that help everyone realize their goals, and he couldn't be more excited to be building HUDSY in the same place where he grew up.
And Angel Gates was born and raised in the South Bronx before moving to the Hudson Valley in 2016. While his career started in the music industry, he later embarked on a new path to deepen his love for film. which has since led to creating Angel Gates Productions.
Growing up in New York City, Angel was able to experience the rich culture that exists within the borough's unique melting pot, allowing him to work seamlessly with individuals of all backgrounds.
He is a passionate, award-winning filmmaker and content creator with expertise in full range of media services, from shooting and producing to editing and directing. He currently resides in Ulster County with his daughter and fiance, a Woodstock native.
Let's welcome Jesse Brown and Angel Gates to roll the credits with Chris and Wayne. Welcome, guys.
Hey, guys.
Thanks so much for being on the show tonight. We really appreciate you being here. We know you're super busy, so we can just jump right into things if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having us.
Sure thing.
Wayne and Chris, you folks are made for this. I swear. You have the voice of an angel, both of you.
And, well, thank you. Thanks so much.
Coming from an angel, that's a big compliment.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Thank you.
And I will also say, had you talked about, had I known you folks before moving to the Hudson Valley, I think I would have moved a long time ago with the intro you just gave.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for that.
That's
thanks.
awesome.
Yeah, we really do truly enjoy being here and meeting folks like yourself. So thanks so much for coming on. Well, you heard me laugh during the intro. I love your description of being a local digital baby of Netflix and public access TV. I just think that really sums up something special. So tell us, please, and either one of you can start more about HUDSY and your vision for it for the future. I just want to hear the story. You can tell us the origin story. You can tell us any part of it that you'd like to jump into, but please fill us in on what's going on.
Angel, you want to start us off?
You can do it, Jessica. You got this, bro.
Let me start us off, kick it back my way. So
yeah, exactly.
Back your way.
Thank you guys again, for being here. But yeah, you kind of said it in the description, and the genesis comes from a lot of different places. Having worked in film ourselves, being lovers of the region. I was gone for about 15 years and moved back. And as you mentioned, I was involved in a snowboard magazine publication. And so kind of in that world, dabbled a little bit in content creation coupled with distribution. And so when I kind of came back to the area, I started to do nonprofit videos and different things around the region, and just started to notice that there seems to be another place that we could kind of distribute them centrally. I was going through some personal things in my life and was kind of exploring what it meant to be more collaborative versus competitive in the world of arts.
Nice.
And all of those kind of things kind of led to this idea of, how do we mirror what's happening in the bigger arenas with some of the platforms where there's convenience and you can get it right through your smart TVs. And so we wanted to make it something that was all about local, but did it in a way that was very similar to how people were receiving their media currently. And so that's kind of what began the process of this idea of HUDSY. And it was really just to celebrate this region that we all love, celebrate incredible storytellers and artists who are here, and ultimately give the community access and easier access to understanding how much incredible artwork and people were doing here. Because what we were noticing from some of those videos was that leaving the earnest on the community member to have to go to all these different individual websites to know what was happening could be prohibitive for people to actually know when they can tune into things easier that are less local. So we wanted to make that more aligned so people could have that opportunity.
Great.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on what Jesse's saying, I think the biggest thing that we was recognizing was, there's a lot of amazing content being made here. I think we all could agree on that. And I think the disconnect that we was recognizing was that a lot of the content is just not being seen. And I think that, people are just getting pulled in so many directions that it only made sense. The blueprint's out there. How do we centralize this content, and celebrate it at the same time while figuring out ways to connect that content with the creators in the community. So
Right. And do you have like a specific mission statement, that you've written out, or is it along these lines of what you're talking about right now?
We've kind of going back and forth. We're still like developing the entire culture of the company and stuff. But I mean, the idea is to essentially empower local storytellers, connect the community, and ultimately lead to connections and people being more connected in this kind of digital world that we're all now living in. And we find stories are a great way to get to know each other and to draw that ability to kind of find deeper and more meaningful connections.
That's really great. Go ahead, Chris. You can hop in there.
Well, I was just wondering, how do you two know each other?
Oh, that's a good question. So ironically, right, me and Jesse lived in Astoria about a block away from each other. Did not know each other though. This is when Jesse was living in, he had a stint in New York City. We lived a block away from each other, did not know each other. He moved up probably 3 months prior to me moving up.
Wow.
And, you know, me and Jesse were just in the same circles of just shooting films for nonprofits. And, you know, someone told me about him. And, you know, for me, I've always wanted to, I've always celebrated just connecting with folks, especially me being new up here in 2016. It was a no-brainer to try to connect with folks that was in this space, and loved his work. And I just wanted to find ways to like connect with creators. And you know, and that's kind of how it happened. I sent him a message on Instagram, and I like to mess with him. He never answered that message.
Isn't that the way it goes, right?
Yeah, I felt really bamboozled. And then he responded 3 weeks later, and he's like, "Hey, we should connect. I have an idea."
Nice.
So of course, you know, I'm putting my cologne on. I want to smell good for Jesse. I'm getting ready for this manly date. And and then he presented HUDSY. And for me, being in this space, I just like, yeah, I'm all in, because I want to collaborate. I want to connect with others that are in this space. So it was a no-brainer.
Great. That's so great. So let's ask this. I mean, we've been asking a lot of people this question. How has the pandemic situation affected what you guys have been working on?
I mean, it's affected everything, you know, from our, you know, emotional lives and just our personal lives. I mean, you know, we all, in addition to this, we're acting as freelancers. Angel and I both had production companies. So, you know, that work got shut down. I mean, I'd say the biggest piece is that, you know, we're a platform that's built to survive in the digital world, and that's great for us, but we really thrive in the in-person world. And so the shutting down, I think, just took us out of our original game plan, which was to meet people where they are and come to tons of community events, be it events like the Hunter Mountain Film Festival, and just really being able to connect with people one-on-one. I mean, we can let people know what we're up to online, but there's so much noise, and our model is just a little bit more in person. And so I'd say that was the biggest, was all the events that we were kind of thinking we'd be doing. Obviously, shooting has been more delicate. We work with many community members, people of all ages, people who, you know, we have to be very careful. So we as a team have implemented COVID policies where we're testing weekly based on certain things. And so there's a lot of logistics that have gone into the actual day to day.
You
know that well.
And I just wish, you know, I think we're happy with where we are, but I think, you know, hindsight's 2020. It would have been nice had we could have got this up a year earlier, because with COVID and so many people focusing on streaming platforms, I think it would have been a great opportunity for people to see some alternative options. But you know, it is what it is, and we have no idea what this winter is going to be like. So we're just kind of working forward on getting that app ready and for whatever happens next. So
good. Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, I see your current videos. You have a number of categories like arts and culture,
great
food,
stuff.
Community, documentary,
all the things we were talking about in the intro, all the things we love.
Well, tell us more about what kind of video content you plan on putting together for the site. Either one.
Angel, why don't you jump on that?
Yeah. So, you know, ideally we want to touch on all the genres. And, you know, for us, it's a process. You know what I mean? For us, we love to tell humanistic stories. Me and Jesse are documentary filmmakers first. But you know, the beauty about this platform is just not our work; it's the communities, the region's work. So you know, we're tapping into narratives, comedies, and you know, the big task for us is trying to figure out, you know, what's going to work, what is the region going to really be attracted to. So you know, we're going to have a bit of everything, you know, and hopefully grow. You know, as the platform grows, the content will grow, and hopefully our subscribers will grow. So
how are you I mean, you're obviously creating content for yourself, right? And then you're finding other content. And how are you finding the content? How are you connecting?
A little bit of both. So we're having filmmakers reach out to us, and we're also just reaching out to filmmakers as well. You know, for the first 3 years, me and Jesse were, you know, on the streets shooting, connecting, networking, and trying to connect with folks that saw the vision of this platform. So, you know, we would just try our best to like explain what we were trying to do and what we're planning on doing, and reaching out to filmmakers that really believed in this model, because, you know, ideally there's a little reverse engineering too, you know, because we are going to be a free platform at launch. So when people think, oh, a streaming platform, they're assuming that, hey, they're going to get paid. And, you know, and we're losing money.
Yeah, exactly. Getting started. Right. Yeah. It's
so for us, it's just us trying to recognize that we're doing this for the community. We're doing this for the region. We're doing this for the filmmakers and the creators. So yeah, you know, there's a lot happening.
Well, it sounds like you're giving them an amazing opportunity to show their content.
That is the goal. That is the plan. But not everyone. And when I say reverse engineering, I think there's a lot of creators that are fixed in their ways, or they're seeing things different because they see the bigger players. We're a small outfit, but we're also offering something that I think can be huge, you know, worldwide if it's done right. Because I think the stories that are being made locally are the most important. And I think, you know, there's an element of production companies when they come into your community that are not from your community, and a production company is from your community telling these stories. And the trust that we're building here in HUDSY is that a lot of the filmmakers are local, you know, and they're building that trust with the communities to tell these stories, which is a huge blessing. And I'm super grateful that we can do that, because it's about building trust first, and we're doing that.
Great. I like how you said that. Yeah. Building up trust so that you can start I mean, it's really, I think of it as being community building, what you're doing as well. You're showcasing the community, but that also bonds the community together. I think so. You kind of answered this question already, but let's throw it out there and see if there's any other ideas we can continue from this. With the streaming app, right? Like you've talked about this, there's a lot of noise out there, and I have written down here on my script, but I'm just going to say it, is I already have like Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Amazon, whatever, Hulu, you know, I got all of them already. So why another streaming app? I think you kind of mentioned it because you're looking at it as the part of the community to build, you know, with local production companies in the local area. But what else? Like what else is going to pull people in to another streaming service that, you know, that's unique about HUDSY?
Yeah. I mean, I could talk to that. I think there's a couple things, you know, I mean, we know that more and more people are continuing to kind of cut their cord, right? So when you end up off of cable completely, you're now pretty much in an app ecosystem. And so in the app ecosystem, as you described, you might have Apple, you might have Disney Plus, you might have all these things, but really at that point, local is completely cut out of that scenario. So, you know, we envision kind of filling that gap of what local can look like in that ecosystem. So it kind of fulfills all needs. Also, you know, this isn't going to be for every person, you know, right? For people who are looking for more for entertainment, who, you know, are looking for connections with platforms that are deeper than just entertainment relationships. This is going to be something there. If you ran down that list and you said, what does my community benefit from those models you described? I think, you know, there's a lot of intrinsic and things that come down through the forms of production, but it really boils down to the form of entertainment. And so what if there's a platform that could be both entertaining, connecting, job creating, all of these things for stimulating for the actual place that you're, you know, living in. So this idea that just by participating in a platform could actually create jobs and create stories that weren't typically told. We think it's a new way of thinking. And so we're not thinking that this is going to replace any of those major players, but hopefully complement it and be a part of your regular ecosystem. And we believe by, you know, being a part of things that you typically would need, whether that's the sports, weather, concerts, that it becomes less of this entertainment relationship that can lead to, oh, my favorite show is on, I'm going to subscribe. And when it's over, I'm going to unsubscribe. This is a much more long-term relationship that we're building with our community that we hope that they'll build with us, and something that they can come to on a regular basis and interact with and feel that they're a part of the community. You know, one of the slogans we're kind of saying is, you know, we're doing the work for you, where instead of you having to go everywhere, we'll bring it and we'll make it on an app and really convenient. And so there's less and less excuses to maybe say, hey, I didn't know what was happening in my community because I couldn't find that. Or so we're trying to build a different relationship with how people view platforms and in a new way, essentially.
Nice. So what go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, and just add to what Jesse's saying, you know, a lot of his strategy as well, right? Like we know, perfect example, you live in New Paltz, so you know Pat Ryan has his talks on Facebook. Unfortunately, that's the only place you can read his stuff. You know, we're also recognizing that people don't want to go on Facebook anymore. People don't trust Facebook. So there you go. So
I don't use it anymore.
So now having a reliable platform like HUDSY, where we're not going to steal your data, we're not going to sell your data, you know,
Yeah.
but yet you can still watch that Pat Ryan.
We can see Pat Ryan and see what he's up to. That's what I was about to break in and say. So I just wanted to be clear about it for my own thinking. Is it sounds like instead of me having to go to YouTube and go to Facebook and go to my email and look at the video that somebody sent me recently, I can go to HUDSY and see, oh, there's Pat Ryan's talks, there's the local winery tour, there's the, you know, that kind of thing. Am I on the right track here with what we're going toward? Yeah. Okay, great.
Yep. That's exactly right. And, you know, so we're doing work every day in licensing content, creating new content, and creating partnerships with other organizations to say, hey, there's an opportunity here to have a central distribution point that it can be values aligned with yourself, that can offer the community an alternative way of viewing this. And in this attention-based economy, just by actually tuning into that, like I said, we're creating jobs and keeping resources locally. So, you know, we're going to do that and continue to bring on community partners and kind of say, let's not continue to divide the community's attention. Let's give them one spot that they can come to, mirroring what they're used to with the bigger platforms, and see that. And we believe that those videos will get a lot more views than people were seeing on them before.
Nice. Now, for the people who aren't sure what licensing content is, could you just explain that a little bit so people are clear of what that means?
Yeah, well, and we're in a unique perspective in the way that we're licensing content, right? And going back to what Angel was saying with trust, I think we've been able to build trust because we are just like the people we're speaking to. We're filmmakers who've been freelancers, who've been in this industry for a while, have work that we've created that we wish could have been monetized, and truthfully is living for free on platforms, right? So, so in that sense, what we're kind of looking for in this initial first grab is reaching out to artists who are similar to us, who say, hey, have you made it a piece of work that maybe has gone through a film festival circuit, was hoping to get picked up, and now it's not, and it's sitting on Vimeo or YouTube for free. So that's our first kind of grab, because what we're saying to people is, hey, we can't pay you for that footage, although we wish we could. We're in a similar boat as you are, and we don't like it for any of us. But what we think the best case situation is to harness all of that footage together to show a proof of concept to the community of what's possible, and build a model that doesn't allow artists to have to make work in the future that they're not compensated for.
I see.
So kind of using this as a leverage point to get to a much better world instead of just accepting it for what it is. We're trying to harness those assets into something new for all of us.
I got you. Now, I'm not a great business person because my mind doesn't go there. That's why I have other people around me that are good at that stuff. So how do you eventually monetize or raise the money to continue making the content and continue growing the platform? I have no clue. I honestly don't know like how that works or how that happens.
I think a lot of people are. And just on the last thing that I want to add on that licensing thing is it's a non-exclusive license, right? So in this first stage, we're not asking you to park this permanently because we understand that would be an unfair relation and transaction based on what we're offering in return. So we've really tried to think this through. From the monetization level, there's a lot. You know, first and foremost, we're a production company. Angel and I both have been doing production for years, so we're able to harness local commercial production and continue to do that as one of our revenue streams. It's not our main goal. It takes us a little bit off of our mission, and we're also more trying to bring in work and be able to disseminate out to the community to be another body competing with other artists for local commercials. So so the main way that we're trying to revenue is going to be through a subscription model. So
I see. Okay.
Yep. So the model is going to be for free for the first couple years, and then there'll always be free access to a large portion of the community stuff and the events and stuff like that. Eventually, we'll integrate a paywall and higher quality content behind it, and hopefully we can eventually ramp up to a number of subscribers that can support this entire thing, coupled with a model that Vice kind of really helped create of sponsored content. So we won't be doing ads before content, but we're making series where we may look for values aligned partners who are interested in putting their name onto the front of the series in exchange for a value and stuff. So the sponsored content and the subscribers are the main revenue source.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And it sounds like,
thank you for explaining that. Yeah.
It sounds like it keeps even when you have the subscription, there'll always be a place for the lower end, more amateur type footage, if that's the right way to put it, or production content for people to display their work, basically.
You know what? I want to. So when Jesse says higher quality, the whole purpose of HUDSY is to really connect people with the quality that's being made here, right? You'd be surprised with the amount of people that they see our work, particularly, and they're like, "Oh my God, I didn't know that was being made here, or
Yeah,
when we promote
Yeah.
other filmmakers, they're like, what, and so for us, our goal is to consistently prove that there's quality content being made here. There are quality actors and actresses that are being birthed here. And we want to make sure that connection happens, because I think that's part of the strategy, right, with HUDSY and the community, is proving that this can work, that there is quality content being made here. So when Jesse says that there's going to be higher quality, it's not actually technically higher quality, but there's going to be things that, we have to figure out to put past the paywall,
right,
content that
and
goes
what I heard in
before it.
that, in the higher quality thing, is that you are aiming toward it not being a platform to just dump whatever content. You're aiming for that, to showcase that higher quality content that is being made here. That's what I'm hearing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong about that.
And it's a balance. People ask, are you closer to Netflix or YouTube? I mean, I think that's a tough two opposite sides.
Yeah, they are kind of different, but I get that question.
We know it. Yeah, we get what people are asking. I'd say closer to Netflix in the type of content that we want this to feel like, professional stuff that you're used to. And we don't see this as a place where it's just user-generated content. It's more being called community-inspired content. Everything that we're telling is being brought to us from the community in a different form. But we are discussing how those can coexist. Maybe there's a carousel within the platform that is like more amateur type of content and stuff. And then everything we're trying to do is to build building blocks to help people get to where they want and get away from the access issues stopping anybody who wants to get into this industry. So whether that's teaching them or getting them equipment, we're really trying to help in any way we can.
Nice. Now you said teaching them. Is there a teaching component of this? Are there going to be interns and that kind of thing, or how do you mean?
There is. So we have an apprenticeship program right now. We're in beta, but we fully launch
understandable.
First quarter of next year, where we have workshops or whatnot for the apprentice. It is a paid apprenticeship. We believe that folks that are motivated in this space deserve to be compensated, especially when they're taking time out. But one of the beauties about the apprenticeship program is that we're recognizing how much they're learning. A lot, and the beauty about the apprenticeship program as well is is diverse from age, gender, race. Like, we want to make sure we have a great diverse crew, because I think when people hear apprenticeship or interns, they think of young folks.
Right.
And a person like myself who got into the industry, I guess, considerably late, right? It would have been great to have access to something that I felt I was welcomed. And that's one of the things that we're striving for with the apprenticeship program, is making sure that, it's a diverse crew, but most importantly, that they're taking home a lot of knowledge in this space. And, honestly, we have interns that are going to school for it. And, I'm not to throw shade at, academics, but they're learning more with our crew than they're learning in school. And it says a lot about the system.
There is a big difference between doing it and learning it, even though I know a lot of the programs around here also have hands-on going on. But you're right. And I think what's great about this, the apprenticeship program or intern program, is that, as I mentioned, all of the work that's up here, we need crews. I mean, we need more crews up here. And so you guys are going to contribute to that with this training and things like that. So that's,
hey, you know what? I
keep supporting the area as well. The projects above, are going to also be supported in this. So congratulations. I mean, that's going to be great.
And it just goes back to our communities telling their own stories, right? Like, that's another thing about this element with the apprenticeship program, is the idea that, these inspiring filmmakers, they can learn from this program and actually tell their story, or tell stories that really feel like that represents them. And, that's how we grow the content as well. I think that's the key, is to make sure that they have the tools to really advance in the space.
Great.
I was going to say, I didn't actually do my first casting job till I was over 50.
Oh, that's right.
So I totally relate.
It was on something we worked on together. That's right.
That's awesome.
I forgot about that.
So how does the Community Content Fund work with this, and how do people get involved?
So the Community Content Fund, we just wrapped up the 2021 cycle. So at this point, the way to do it is to kind of keep an eye on the website, which is HUDSY.tv, sign up for the newsletter. engage with us on Instagram. All of those are the best way to kind of keep up to that.
Sure.
But generally, the Community Content Fund was, it was a personal thing to all of us. It's about reinvesting back in our local community. It's about, how many people, if given the opportunity, could go out and do things that they were really passionate about. I think, Angel and I lived a pretty traditional freelance world where we would do the projects that paid our bills, that we probably don't show many people the work that we make. And then if you looked at our websites around the projects that people were excited about, most people would probably not realize that we weren't paid for probably any of those.
Man. Right.
Right. There's this reality we're all dealing with as artists where we pay our bills with one thing, and then another thing is projects of passion. We wanted to see what that was different when people got access to resources to tell the things that they were passionate about. And it ultimately comes back to the world that we want to live in, which is a world that people get to be the truest versions of themselves and express themselves in forms of art. And we know that in a capitalistic system, it takes capital to do that. And so we were lucky enough to try this program out. We got 42 applicants. There was a committee that we set up of community members, so we had no say. So we trying to get away from nepotism.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Trying to do things really differently. And we had 3 amazing winners. 2 are making docs. 1 is doing a narrative.
Wow.
And we're really excited to see what they're doing, to be supportive of them. One of the filmmakers, Chris Nostrand, who runs Nostrand Productions, who, he wrote, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've made countless passion projects. I've never had $1 behind me to do that. So to be in our kind of first real year and doing that is really exciting. And it's ultimately what this is about, is just sometimes getting out of the way and just letting artists be artists, and then providing the platform that they can put it out to the world. And we'll be helping facilitate with premieres and working with theaters to make sure more eyes are seeing those projects, and that more people are knowing about these crazy, amazing creatives in our region. So
great. Well, that's amazing. And I think that's what you guys are doing. You're creating something for artists that they wouldn't otherwise have locally here in Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
But switching gears a little bit, I always, we like to always ask guests this, and that is, do you have any funny or moving stories about something that happened while filming, that either one of you could share with us?
We always like asking, some crazy event that happened, or even it could be not even filming, like maybe just in the founding of HUDSY itself, like something funny or moving that happened.
I'm sure we've got something, Angel. I'm thinking about filming at Gopal the other day, and the
oh God, yes, that was intense. Yeah,
what happened?
Well, not intense. Well, you were talking about the cows. I mean, one of those stories. So, we've been making a great food and agriculture series where we've been traveling around the region. How can you speak about the Hudson Valley and not talk about food and all
exactly.
amazing things? So we have a hosted show with a host that travels around, and had the amazing opportunity to film at Gopal Farms, which, if people are not aware of it, it's I didn't prep for this, so if I say it wrong, they have an Indian-based CSA where they grow grow agriculture and things specific to people who are used to Indian and Asian type of vegetables. And so it was a real incredible opportunity, and their vision. And so we shoot these kind of dialogue scenes with the host and their characters. And Namai, who runs the farm, we were filming this great conversation with. And then we kind of do these no sync wides, which after the conversation will go really far back and cut these kind of cutaways. And so they were just sitting there chatting, and I was like, oh, let me do this tilt down shot. And it looked like it was scripted. We literally, I tilted down, and right as I come down, the chair that Namai is sitting on completely breaks.
What?
And he goes falling through to the ground.
What?
And you can just hear him on the camera. He's like, I hope they got that on camera. And 2 other people were kind of changing lenses or whatever. And I was like, I think I got it. And when I looked at my shot, it literally looked like we had scripted. I had tilted right down, and right as I got him in frame, it just broke. So,
oh my God.
Oh man. That's
that was a fun moment.
Does that end up as a blooper, or is that end up as part of it? That's too good. That's too good.
I could see it as all. I mean, I see you see these intros and trailers that kind of grab your attention. So I could see a moment like that.
Oh,
in the
intro,
that's right. Yeah, to try to pull attention, get a click on that. Yeah.
That was one that came to mind. I don't know.
Yeah, Angel, do you have one that you thought of while we were talking there?
I think as a filmmaker, being a filmmaker in the Hudson Valley period for me, I'm born and bred in New York City, so I wasn't so into wildlife the way I have been forcefully put into wildlife.
Yes, I understand where you're coming from with that. Yep.
So like I went from city rats to deers and bears where I live now. I live by the Ashokan Reservoir. So
okay, yeah, familiar.
Yeah,
with
and
yeah.
And honestly, like the series that we're shooting right now, like we're like in it, like we're like in it with the cows, and like that one farm which is in your backyard, Wayne, in New Paltz. Yeah, the cows were just really poking at us, and I was just like, oh man, this is not gonna work. And me and Jesse, we on easy rigs trying our best to keep the shot steady, and we're getting attacked by flies and cow
right, yeah,
poop and pee. It was intense.
Everything everywhere.
My God.
But I wouldn't trade it for anything, honestly. Like I say this all the time. My friends were placing bets to see how long I'll last up here, because I'm just so city. And literally one of my first films was about hemlock trees. They're like, oh, we lost Angel. That's it. He's gone. And then it was about bees, and I've now really embraced it. And I have a 5-year-old daughter who loves nature, and she actually gardens better than me. She'd rather garden than play with toys.
Wow.
But I love it. But yeah, I would say like just the process of being, it's been intense, but I love it. And Jesse cracks jokes on me all the time because he's used to all this stuff. But
well, when I was a kid, there was no such thing in these neighborhoods as deer. If you wanted to see a deer, in fact, our uncle had a camp up in Sullivan County, and we'd be up there, and it'd be a big thing to go on a deer ride and look for deer. Now they're as common as mice. We have the deer, bear,
I could probably
coyotes.
Open these blinds right now, and there's one just standing there.
I know. It's just amazing. Turkeys. Just amazing.
Chris, so my office, it's it's detached from the house. And if there was like a spy cam on me,
right,
you'd be tearing, because I run home. Like I'm only a few feet away, but I run home.
Right.
I'm thinking like case, something. Yeah.
What's out there? What's out there?
Yeah. I'm thinking like the chupacabras that are coming.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. They might be out there hiding in the woods. And you see those reflected eyes sometimes in the woods, and you're like, oh no, I'm not going near that.
Well, Wayne, I watch too many movies, and I'm like,
right.
These animals are gonna be like, who's this brown guy in this neighborhood? And so yeah, I get a little nervous.
Yeah.
Ironically, just to interject here, we interviewed a person last night who played a character who was a monster. They called him the chupacabra.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, among many other things.
Among many other things.
Yeah. But that's funny that you brought that up. Now we have 2 mentions of the chupacabra in our show. We might have to do a special. Maybe we'll do a special, Chris, on the chupacabra.
Well, I just found out that I apparently can't pronounce that. So,
well, let's switch gears again. Thank you so much for sharing those stories. I love this stuff, and it's one of the reasons I love doing this is because of these crazy, amazing things that happen. So with kind of switching back to where we were with like talking about interns and apprenticeships and people who are just getting started, what advice would each of you give to people who are, they're maybe going to watch this and they're going to be like, I don't know, should I start making content, or what can I do? What kind of advice would you give to somebody to just get going?
I think the first thing for me is, if just don't be afraid to ask questions. I think the big thing that we recognize is that, like, we have apprentices on set, and we make sure that they are asking questions. That's one of the first things that we tell them to do is ask questions. But I think that also is, being a person that stepped in late into this space, I was 30 when I really stepped into the space. Is don't be afraid to try. I went to film school, but I also went to YouTube University. I embraced that fully. I actually call YouTube my stepfather, but
I get it. I get it. Yeah.
And I would also say to reach out to filmmakers. Even if you think that they're probably not going to respond, I think it's important to try to connect. And even if you have to PA or hold the camera for a day or two, just to like be in that space and just see how it works is so important. So I guess for me, my suggestion to inspiring filmmakers is ask questions, reach out to filmmakers, and don't be afraid to try. I think that's the biggest thing. If you don't try, you're failing.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Well,
Jesse,
well
how
put.
about you? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could add a couple things to
Sure.
that. I would say, do things you're really passionate about, because it's challenging and the industry can be hard. And, when you get down on yourself and you're not sure why you're doing something, if it's not something you're really passionate about, it's going to be hard to find the motivation to continue.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the why, like always have a why of why you're doing something. Hopefully it's with love and you're genuinely will find a reason. The other thing I would say is, perfection paralysis is a real thing that everybody deals with as artists. It's art, and I think we all have to make mistakes. And I think that, just going and trying is the best way to learn things. And, I didn't go to film school, and I've always kind of had this fear that I'm going to be outed or someone's going to know. And
Sure, I get that.
So I think, more collaboration amongst each other is really helpful. And the last piece I would just say is, and we've all gone down this, but don't get too caught up in the equipment. I think the story is everything. I think having great equipment is important, but I always say that, if the story is really good, it's going to be the most important thing. There's a million things on platforms shot with the best equipment in the world with not great stories that nobody's watching. And then there's things that have an okay story or an amazing story and aren't shot great, and tons of people tune in. So I think there's enough evidence to show. And so, I always say that our phones and our laptops are technically more technology than Star Wars was created on. So
it's incredible. I can't believe that this thing, we can make something that lots of people can enjoy, and using these things. It's so incredible. Now,
more powerful than the space shuttle.
Exactly.
Literally. Exactly.
So now, if people are interested in finding out more about HUDSY, they can go to HUDSY.tv, and we'll put the the thing there so people can see how it's spelled and everything.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. And so they can find out more about you and how to participate. But if they want to find out more about each of you, do you do any social media that we can put up as well if they're looking for you?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
You want us to say it? Because
if you can say it, I'll put it up. Yeah. As you say it. Yeah.
Well, obviously we have HUDSY.tv on Instagram, HUDSY TV on Instagram, but my personal is Mr. _ Angel Gates.
Okay. Great.
And that's a great way to reach out to me, or my email, angel@HUDSY.tv.
Perfect.
Yeah. Same with me. Email's good. I do have an Instagram. I actually have to look it up really quick. It's Digi Rants. Yeah, _ranch. I mean, I post a lot more from HUDSY.
Sure.
And I would just say it ties into what we've talked about. Me as a solo artist, I struggled to fly my own flag in the world of social media and say, oh, look at me, everybody. But as soon as we became a collective, it became much easier to celebrate those things on social media because it didn't feel as self-serving. So I've kind of merged most of my life into HUDSY because it makes me feel better. It's something I'm excited about supporting and putting most of my energy behind.
I completely understand that. So does HUDSY have its own Instagram account as well? Can we put that up as well?
Yeah. So what would that be? TV.
Okay, great. Perfect.
Yep,
perfect.
Exactly.
Easy.
And then we're active on Twitter, Facebook, and ramping up things on YouTube and stuff like that.
Okay, great. Great.
Yeah, Jesse, I can totally relate to that. I that's something I hadn't thought about. I guess I thought about it subconsciously, but until you said it out loud, I really get that. It is hard to push your own stuff, and it feels sort of like you're not bragging, but nobody likes to toot their own horn that way. And when you do the collective thing, it really takes that pressure off.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Somebody said it to me at a workshop once, and it was the same thing that you're going. Somebody said it, and I was like, "Oh, I've subconsciously felt exactly what you just said, but I've never heard it or articulated." So yeah, it's important. I like to say it because it goes back to this essence of collaboration for us. It's really what we're about, and the world over accentuates this idea of competition. We do believe competition has a helpful purpose in it, but we also want to find that balance of collaboration and love and helping each other. And again, for me, going back to this original idea, I don't think we came up with anything crazy here. I think that we were in a period in our lives of having different experiences that had led us to places that we weren't happy with. And it led us to start to think at things differently, look at things differently. And there's no technology innovation here, right? Like it was really just a way of thinking and relating to one another that really started with the basic premise of, what if I collaborated with my fellow community artist instead of competed against him? Nice. And that really was the initial genesis of the entire website, was to build something that the community could see. And for us, I think it was really exciting to see that first beta website where wow, my work on my own site's kind of cool, but my work on a platform with all these other people from the region is really cool. And
that is very cool.
Yeah. So I think we've just
Yeah.
been excited, and it's been personally, going back to the pandemic, I think the pandemic would have been a lot more challenging for me personally if I didn't have an incredible opportunity to work on something like this that feels like it gives back to me. It makes me feel like I have a purpose in the world. And I work with people who I deeply care about, and I love working together. And this community means so much to us. I think it's one of the greatest places in the world. It took me leaving for 15 years, saying I would never come back here no matter what.
That's what it takes
back.
sometimes. Yeah.
And having such a different way of now viewing it, and such appreciation for being raised here, and just feeling like this is a perfect place to launch a model like this, and honor our community in this way.
That's so great. Thanks.
That's awesome.
Thanks for sharing that. So is there, before we head out tonight, is there anything else, any upcoming projects or anything else you'd like to share with the audience before we say goodnight?
Yeah. Can I have
please.
my Jerry Springer final thought?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
I just want to say that, so, cause I'm sure people are curious, like me and Jesse, our team, it's not just me and Jesse, we have a awesome team helping us build this platform. We're building this not for an exit strategy. One of the things that the reason why we're really building this for the community. We really believe in our region and our community. Like I want this platform to be around when my daughter's of the age to be able to like create if she decides to. But we really, really need people to believe in this. Like when we leave this podcast, whomever's watching this, like trust us. We're really trying to build this for you. We really are. And I appreciate Wayne and Chris. I appreciate you folks allowing us to be on this platform to just talk about HUDSY, because we need to be talking about this more. And I have the saying, believing is contagious, and the more folks that believe in this, the bigger it can be, and the more lives it can inspire. And I'm in this because I was inspired to do what I do. Being a person of color, the reason why I got into this space is because I didn't see people that look like me holding a camera. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I want to be that voice. I want HUDSY to be that voice that people trust and want to be able to elevate their voices. So all I just wanted to say is that HUDSY is really doing this for the community in the region, and we really believe in this. And if we did it, we wouldn't be here. We know it's needed. We know it's wanted, and we're excited. So
great. Well, we appreciate you coming on and sharing all of that with us. It sounds really amazing. And we also are along the same lines. It's one of the reasons we decided to do this, because we wanted to connect with the other people in the community and then bring that to people who may not know what's going on out there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what develops out of HUDSY, and keeping in touch with you guys and maybe hanging out sometime. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want to find out more.
We hope so too. Yeah, and we really appreciate you guys, and to shout out the Hunter Mountain Film Festival, and it's film festivals like that are the lifeblood of our region and independent cinema. And, we really want to continue collaborating with folks like yourselves. And we're very appreciative that you gave us this opportunity to come and speak with you all. It's just great to get to know you guys too.
Sure thing.
Oh, same here. Yeah. Same here. Yeah. And Angel and Jesse, and just want to say thank you so much for being here with us tonight. And for those of you watching at home, don't forget to check out all the other great content at huntermountainfilmfestival.com. And we are, again, online this year from October 22nd through the 24th.
Yes, we are. And also make sure that you check out HUDSY.tv out there in the world and see what's happening, all of the exciting content that they've got out there. We also want to thank all of you who are watching for being a part of our film and TV community. And please stay safe, be well, and keep telling those stories.
Hey, Wayne, I think it's that time again.
Yes, it is, Chris. It's time to roll the credits. All right, bye, guys. Thanks, Angel. Thanks you, Jesse. So much. We'll see you around the beautiful Hudson Valley.
Can't wait.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.